Again, the pattern that we have in the book of Judges is that the Israelites forget God, turn away from God's commandments and God's ways, and then they get oppressed by somebody, they cry out to God. God sends the leader or the judge to help them. They're victorious, the people forget, and the cycle repeats. We saw that with Gideon, who we looked at yesterday. After Gideon was victorious, then he ends up committing idolatry and asking all the people to give him gold, and things go downhill again. And it's in chapter 10 that we actually have the only genuine act of repentance by the people in the book of Judges. Now, when you mess up, when you make a mistake, the most important thing to do is to own it. Don't blame somebody else. Don't deflect it. Don't make excuses. Just own the mistake. It's the healthiest thing to do emotionally, spiritually, relationally, even for your own self-esteem, because you have more of a sense of agency rather than feeling like you're a piece of driftwood on an ocean just being taken wherever the currents of life take you. Own responsibility for as much of your life and your behavior as you possibly can. So in Judges chapter 10, the Israelites, now they're being oppressed by the Ammonites. There's always some ite going after the Israelites in the book of Judges. And in chapter 10, they have this one act of repentance where they cry out and they actually acknowledge, we have sinned against you because we have abandoned our God. And in verse 16, it says, so they put away the foreign gods from among them and worshiped the Lord, and he could no longer bear to see Israel suffer. You can read in chapter 10, verses 10 through 16, and read their whole act of confession. But again, it's just something that blaming other people, blaming circumstances, is a disempowering way to live. It's not the path to maturity. It's not the path to contentment. And it's part of why the Israelites in the book of Judges so frequently get in trouble. It's because they mess up and they don't own it and they don't change their behavior. So it's very good that here in chapter 10 they finally engage in a genuine act of repentance and put away the foreign gods, the idols they had been worshiping. But in our own life, not only do we need to own when we make a mistake, when we say or do something wrong, we also, as part of that repentance, need to turn from it. We don't want to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. So owning our actions and our words and our deeds, and not repeating the ones that are not godly or helpful or beneficial, that's the path to genuine spiritual maturity and to contentment.